I'm setting up a new tool here, and basically what I did was I took the old blade out of wherever I put it now. I took the old blade out and put in this blade that handles the GN2 insert. Okay, and doing a face cut here to get center. Now, if you have the tool height here, if you have a tool height setting gauge, those are pretty cool. I have a couple other things too. I have this level. You chuck it in and then you put it on just the tip of the tool there and see whether it's level. This depends on whether or not your machine is perfectly level. And we've already been through that. It doesn't have to be perfectly level with the floor, but it has to be perfectly level with itself. So if you're not perfectly level on the floor, that may cause you some issues on that. But so what we're going to do is we're just going to take a few face cuts here, light face cuts, just a scrap piece of aluminum, and just keep working it up until we get where we want. Just a tiny little nub there, so I like that, but keep in mind we got a lock nut here, and that lock nut may affect the height slightly because what it's going to do is all threads have a little bit of play in them. You know, that's why the nuts are a little loose. And so when I lock that down, when I push the jam nut down on it, I'm pushing that adjustment disc right here. You know, I'm pushing that down. And when it sits in there, it may be kind of cattywampus too. It may sit at a slight angle because of the weight. You know, when you lock it down, that jam nut will flatten that back out. So the jam nut will affect your tool height and your adjustment. So once you cinch that down, check it again, and you're probably going to have to adjust it again. We may be a little high here. Let's see. I like how that turned out. It may be just a tiny bit high. I'm going to kind of leave it because it's not light face cuts that I'm normally going to be taking. I'm normally going to be plunging in since it is a cutoff tool. In fact, let's take a heavier one and see what happens. That is pretty close. What happens if you get too high? Then you start hitting the relief angle there, you know, and your tip's not actually cutting. So you don't want that. If you get it down too low, it's going to want to climb up over it. That's going to make it pretty hard too. So let's call that good and see if we can cut some steel with it. So I have a big ass pile of crap on the floor. Okay, I have a handful of oopses basically. They're close to, you know, what I need, what I have, what's in this bucket. They're close, but you know, like the inside bore will be 2/3/4 thousandths off. Outside will be a little too small. Something along those lines. So they're messed up. So I'm hoping to get this dialed in while before I run out of those and have to start cutting good ones. So part of the challenge here is going to be the fact that there's quite a bit of overhang on this tool compared to the other cutoff tool. This is the overhang I'm talking about here. See, there's at least 1/8 of an inch, if not more, hanging out there. Whereas on this one, it's a whole lot more flush and closer. So I have one of these on orders for the small one, but you can also see just, you know, how much narrower that top one is. So a lot less metal, a lot less force to try to shove in there. So I just wish I could, you know, I'm real tempted just to machine that and put it in the CNC machine. Part of my challenge here is that I need to put a depth stop back here. I may end up having to make one because I don't think the one I have holds it out far enough because of this overhang. So basically what I'm going to have to do is measure it every time. Okay. In fact, speaking of measuring, I don't remember if this tip is 87 thou or 60 something thou. Looks like 87. Okay. So I need to, according to my drawing, I need these cut off at 700, so I need to make it 0.787 negative in order for that to come out the right length. So I zeroed it out there. So now we can go to negative 0.87, oh, negative 0.787. Okay. Ooh. And there's clearance there, but it's like a 1/16 of an inch. So let's see what happens. Oh, probably don't want to go quite that fast. Damn, that was nice. Now I would love to see it leaves the burr on the piece that came off, which is kind of a pain in the butt. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting them back in the CNC machine and just cleaning that up.